Hello there my fellow Holotable heroes, and welcome to another roster review. Now this one will be slightly different just because the requirements for them, they were not exactly the same, so I'm still trying to work out the format for these reviews depending on what questions you guys have. So hopefully you'll find it useful. Anyway, let's get into it. So first of all, as always, let's give a shout out to the player that we will be roasting the review, which is Hakin, I don't know. Forgot to ask him actually how to pronounce his name, so apologies, I probably did butcher it. But anyway, also shout out to his guild, the Bantha Galaxy. So you can see they do have Executor, they're in Kyber free, so doing pretty well. So let's go ahead and check out the roster that we will be going through today. As always, over the past few days I've been going through his roster, looking at what he has, what he doesn't have and things like that, and also then obviously considering the questions they asked. So they actually asked me 3 things. The first one was the biggest missing toons and teams for an account like this, then what to focus on in the near future, maybe explaining what to farm and when to go for something. And then as well look at his Grand Arena defenses, what to set right now, is like any adjustments we can make right now, and then some short-term, medium / long-term goals to improve his defense. So that's what I'll be going through. Now I will not go in details in modding as I did for the previous video, because this time I had a look at the mods. They seem pretty in a good place overall, and also they themselves did not ask me to spend too much time talking about mods like they did for the first video. So we'll be spending more time actually looking at Grand Arena defense, how we can a little bit help him out improve this. But just to give you an idea, in terms of modding, they pretty much have mods in a good place. Just checking his Galactic Legends, they have a good amount of health, good amount of speed on Jabba. Ray, now they don't have health Ray, but they do have offense Ray. But still, when it comes to health with Ray, you want at least 200k health, at least 520 speed. So even with offense sets, they were able to achieve these. So they definitely been paying attention to modding. And then Supreme Kylo Ren, 590 speed, all the right mods. As you can see, offense here, crit damage here. So definitely, I think we don't need to spend too much time going through mods and everything. Again, fast look, lots of protection on him, not much else to say there. Obviously, if we do sort by speed, you will see that the speed kind of drops off after the first few characters, but just because it's a relatively, I guess, new-ish account, so they don't have a huge pool of rosters. But I went through the mods from all the key characters, and they all have kind of the right sets, the right primaries. It's just a case of slicing them, rolling them, increasing the speed. So definitely a good base, solid base obviously of the mods. So nothing else really to add here apart from keep slicing, keep rolling, and your speeds will get where they need to be. Then also I guess quite impressed for obviously a roster of this size. With only 4 Galactic Legend, they already made it to Kyber free, because I know that my smaller account, I think it's in a Rhodium 4 or 5 even now. I don't play that actively, but still, for the most case, I'm facing opponents 6, 7 Galactic Legends, sometimes even 8. So the fact that they were able to reach Kyber free with only 4 Galactic Legend means obviously they do know how, some off-meta counters and things like that they are actually a very solid player. Just probably now reaching Kyber free, maybe have the ambition to reach Kyber 2. You're probably kind of running into things where you simply don't have good enough teams maybe anymore to put on defense. And that's why they ask a little bit, what to focus on next to improve the defense. So yeah, very impressive rosters. You can see they got Conquest units as well. They've got Ezra, Luthen, I think there's Queen Amidala, right there as well. Yeah, so they've got a lot. They've got Bane also. So it's just kind of the older Conquest units like Commander Ahsoka Tano. I think they don't have unlocked yet. Maul. I think they've got Trench maybe. But it's just some of the older ones. So again, probably a newer account that now started really hitting the ground on Conquest and unlocking those. But I had a chat with him as well offline, and he did show me, the progress on things like Malgus, Maul, Fury Interceptor and things like that side. So he's already almost there with unlocking those also. So definitely a very good, solid roster. Now just a case of filling up some of the teams that may be missing and then obviously planning, okay, what's the next Galactic Legends to work on, and you know, they'll be in good place to continue climbing the ladder in Kyber League. Okay, so speaking of the teams, let's just I guess address the first point. So what's the biggest teams missing for an account like this? You don't have to look further, just the first filter that you apply already, 501st. No love for General Skywalker. Granted, General Skywalker isn't like the biggest team anymore, but you know, on the Kyber side, you know, GAS can still get a lot of done. Either strip some banner on defense or, you know, take down some teams on offense as well. So it's definitely one of the teams that is missing, and you know, you should be working on at this level to have it done. And then the second one is Sith Empire. What's going on here? Malak at 5 stars. You know, you do have to prioritize now getting Malak to 7 stars and get the rest of the Sith Empire squad up and running, because they will be, I think, unlocking Malgus in about 7 months. So you know, by then, if you get your Sith Empire ready, you can then start chasing Leviathan. So I think these are the two biggest kind of teams missing. But otherwise, overall, they've got pretty much everything else. Like, I'm not gonna go through entire roster, but they've got quite a lot. It's just basically GAS 501st and Sith Empire. These are the two kind of big teams that are missing, and obviously, you know, some Galactic Legends. But you know, overall, these are the two teams that I would definitely work on. And then also maybe to highlight some of the other characters that you may want to work on. Where is Nest? Because you know, Nest, she's not that great, that amazing anymore, but when you're trying to set a defense that maybe Imperial Troopers or CLS, you know, would struggle a little bit, you can put Nest in there just to complicate some of those, you know, easy counters. So that's why something I would look out for as well. Now, they don't have Maul unlocked, but I would imagine, I think they're quite close. So with that in mind, they don't have Lord Vader, so Maul can have his own team, which, you know, we keep forgetting that Maul with Watt is such a good team, because we just mostly use Maul with Lord Vader, or now with Gar Saxon, Imperial Command and things like that. But obviously, with Maul coming up, I would work on Watt as well, because then this what would allow you then is to bring together Mandalorians. So you'd have Maul lead, then Watt obviously to trigger more frenzy straight away. You want to work on Canderous, so then Canderous can get another turn, trigger Maul, and then Maul can just go and unload his Anguish. And then to complete the squad, you might want to throw in Django in there, because can ignore taunts and things like that. And then Beskar Mando as well, I would throw him there for his damage immunity, although no Zeta. Anyway, we'll talk about Zeta and Omicron priorities later. And then finally, another thing that I would also work on here is, you can see they've got most of the Night Sisters done, so you can actually form 2 full Night Sister squads. You're just really missing Morgan and Great Mother, so I would also work on them to improve, because they're very solid Grand Arena defense, or you know, use them on offense, also very flexible. Then also another thing, that I want to highlight what to work on, Caloran back, just you know, to make your Qui-Gon team Bad Batch proof. That's what I would do. And was there anything else? Let me see, just checking my notes. I think that's all what I have here. Anyway, we'll go through the detailed teams at the end of the video. This is just kind of an overview that we have now. Yeah, I think just looking at my notes, I think that's all what I wanted to highlight. Yeah, so these are kind of the teams and units that I would work on. And then obviously, once Sith Empire is ready, you can start your Leviathan journey. And then as well, you can work on Leia, Galactic Legend Leia requirements. For the most part, they are just really missing. I had a look at the roster, they're just missing, obviously need to gear up Nisa. They already have Captain Rex up and running, so that's good. So yeah, we need Nisa here, we need Scout Trooper, and then Drogon. Yeah, so we need Drogon, and then as well Lobot, I think. So yeah, just kind of 4 units, well, 3 units need to be geared up. Lobot needs to be obviously brought to gear 13, and then it's just a case of relicking the requirements up. So not that far off. So if I were you, what I would do is start relicking whatever you already have at gear 13 for Leia, while you're gearing up 501st, while you're gearing up, you know, Sith Empire, so you're kind of, you know, overlapping with things like that. So things should fall in place hopefully quite easily. Again, we'll go through the plan a little bit later on. So that kind of addresses, I guess, point number 2 already, like, you know, what to focus on. We discussed that. Yeah, just checking my notes. Lots of obviously you can work on lots of things. I just try to kind of focus it down, narrow it down, so you don't get overwhelmed with what you need to work on. Okay, now I think we are ready to have a look at the Grand Arena defense plan that I put together. Okay, so I guess this is the part 1. There are actually two screens here, so because it was too much to put everything on one screen, so I kind of separated it out. So in this first one, we are looking at the core defense. So these are the squads that even, you know, in Kyber 2, Kyber 1, they still kind of are useful on defense, because at this level, what you really want to ensure is that you know, whatever you put on defense, they can't solo with Wampa, they can't solo with Nez, they can't solo with Malak. That's the first checkpoint, right? And I went through the history, GAC history, both 5v5 and 3v5 most recent rounds, and you know, I've seen things like Jawas, Ewoks, Geos on defense, and yeah, those defenses, you know, they don't hold well. You know, many ways to solo those, so those were removed from my plan. And then yeah, apart from those solos, obviously you also try to ensure, it's not always possible, but you know, whenever you can, you know, try to put teams on defense that will also make it difficult for troopers, CLS and Bad Batch to counter that, because you know, that's what you really want to achieve here. So no easy teams on defense, but obviously, you know, as you can see, there's still quite a few things missing in this roster to get there, but that's at least the vision where you want to get there. So in terms of core defense, these are the teams that do have longevity, that, you know, as mentioned before, all of these teams we counted here, they might have some troubles a little bit sometimes countering them, or won't be able to counter at all. So these are teams that are, you know, these are the teams that have units that you already have relic up. It's just a case of maybe rearranging a little bit defense, or bring something from offense, putting it on defense and things like that. Obviously, some of these will need Zetas and Omicrons to be more effective. So if you want to run a Ray team, some sort of Ray, this is just my suggestion based on your roster. Ezra, Exile, Ben, Kenobi, Ray. But obviously you don't have at the moment Omicrons yet on Ezra. And I did have a word with them, and they don't exactly have lots of Zetas and Omicrons, looks like, to dish out. So just do whenever you can. So it's going to be a solid Ray squad. They have Amidala already Omicroned up, that's perfect. Seer as well, that's good. Obviously including color and mask, so they can't do, you know, the whole Gideon Padme cheese. I would put CLS on defense as well, because at this level, like Kyber 3, 2, 1, CLS on offense often, you know, can't do that much anymore. So just put it on defense, I would say. Now at the moment they are running Bosk and Dengakor on defense, which is great. Again, you know, apart from other things I mentioned so far, they also have solid data currently, so they're definitely a very good Grand Arena player. Obviously, once Dengakor expires, Bounty Hunters will go on offense, and then in place I would just put their Admiral Rades squad that they already have relic up. Obviously we got our Fiend Resistance, that's fine. Tuscans in 5v5, their Omicron is not active, so they're not as good as they are in 3v3, but you know, they can still, you know, cause maybe some issues in 5v5, or you know, depending on data crons. At least they're not a pushover team that you can solo easily with, as mentioned before, those teams. So this is where we hit our next Omicron for the Tuscan Raiders, so that will be for 3v3. But again, you know, you already have Tuscans relic up already, all of them I checked, so why not slap an Omicron on Tuscan Raider, and you get one very good solid defensive team for 3v3. And as mentioned before, Beskar Mando, he's got usability now already. Only thing you really need is Zeta on his unique, because without the Zeta, Beskar Mando doesn't do a whole lot, to be honest. So definitely want to slap a Zeta on him to, you know, make whatever use for Beskar Mando you have, you know, a lot better. And then we have the core fleet as well. Mostly they only put Executor on defense, so this is kind of at the moment what seems to be everyone's favorite defense, with Houndstooth starting, no Slave 1, so then the AI prioritizes Xanadu Blood off the bench, just obviously come in, apply Retribution, potentially cause some issues for certain counters, then IG, and then Landos Falcon. That seems to be like the go-to at the moment defense. And then obviously Radis as well. It's a solid defensive lineup, but nothing too crazy. And then in terms of the 3v3 defense, like similar like 5v5s, you can see we got Ray, we got Amidala, we got Seer, CLS, Radis, we got Fin resistance, we've got here Tuscans again. Please do apply that Omicron. You'll see it'll do wonders for your defense. And then this is what I would do, kind of maybe Beskar Mando dash Han Chui on defense. Again, slap that Zeta on Beskar Mando, Jabba, Qui-Gon, and a dash lineup. Now, some of these teams potentially could be soloed or, but, it's a step-by-step process. But for the most part, all of these core teams, even personally still, being kind of, like borderline Kyber 1, Kyber 2, I'm kind of bouncing between them. I lost last round, I dropped to Kyber 2, I won second round, I'm back in Kyber 1, so that's where I'm at. Still, I wouldn't have issues for the most part putting any of these teams down on defense in combination with some good Datacron. So these are the core, so now let's move over to, which teams we need to improve over time. Alright, so in the second graphic, as you can see here on the left side, in the first column, these are kind of the teams that we will be placing now on defense, but that they will get replaced obviously in the midterm and then in the long term with the newer, better teams, just to make this defense a bit more robust. So no easy, cheap counters for the most part. So first things first, again, slap an Omicron on Marin. It will just make Night Sisters a lot better on defense. Like even Imperial Troopers sometimes will struggle then once you slap that Omicron on Marin. So at least, make it more difficult. So that's what I would do, slap Omicron on Marin, and then you can put this team on defense with the Night Sisters. I had a look, they have one Zeta on Talzin, so I guess the Talzin lead will be. And then we've got a dash lineup here. Again, not the best dash lineup, but if you do put Zeta there on Mando, at least they'll be a little bit annoying to deal with. The Jealous Grievous one is like, it's a tough one because, Bad Batch counters easily, Wampa can even solo it. So that's why kind of putting Imperial TIE Fighter Pilot in there, he can land Tenacity down on Wampa and sometimes complicate things. And I've checked the roster, they actually don't have Zetas on General Grievous, but I don't recommend, like, for the long run investing in General Grievous at the moment, because it's not that good of a lineup. It doesn't have as good maybe longevity as some of the other Zetas that you may want to apply. But for the time being, at least, chuck TIE Fighter in there, maybe try to throw off a Wampa solo here and there. At least, that's something. We obviously got our Qui-Gon Omicron lineup. They're doing a good job probably on defense, but this will obviously get improved over time. And then in terms of 3v3, again, General Grievous on 3v3, not that great, but I had a look at the data, and if you chuck in Geo Soldier in there, because on basic we'll be applying Tenacity down, again, can complicate some Wampa solos. That's why that's there. And then we got Nude Django B1. Again, not the best defensive team anymore, but can still cause somebody some issues that they may not understand how this team works. And again, same thing like in 5v5. We got Dengar Kron there, which obviously once Dengar Kron expires, I would just replace by this particular Night Sister lineup. Obviously keeping in mind that you should apply Omicron on Marin. Again, I had a look at the data in 3v3. This seems to be like the most resilient Night Sister lineup versus Wampa solos. Wampa solo is still possible, but it's only about 50%. So maybe they can stop a Wampa solo here and there, at least for the time being, until we get better teams for defense. And then Padme with these guys on defense as well. Not much else to say. Oh, I put Ahsoka twice in there, my mistake. Just use something else, I guess, with Qui-Gon. And then in terms of fleet, for now, we'll just be putting Chimera on defense. Now there is no Scythe unlocked yet, so you can't like have full power of the Empire, so just put them on defense. Hopefully they can dodge their way to Chimera ult and at least take down a ship, snipe some banners. I think that's the best you can hope for with the fleets you have at the moment. Now let's look at our midterm plan. So these are teams you should now start working on and improving, and this will then significantly improve your defense. Obviously, once you have your 501st up and running, this will then replace the Night Sisters on defense. Once you have Nest up and running, she can replace Best Carmando on defense. Just again, a little bit, make things more a little bit annoying for troopers, as well as CLS to take down. And then Best Carmando is freed up to be used in the future with Maul and Mandalorian and WOT Squad once you do have that up and running as well. Then also as mentioned before, we need to farm Morgan and Great Mothers, so this will then give you a very good defensive squad. So this then replaces General Grievous, because General Grievous, as mentioned before, won't do a whole lot anymore these days. Kellerback just a little bit boosts up your Qui-Gon lineup, and then as well in Preview Free you can put some sort of Kellerback team. It's gonna be probably do better than General Grievous. I don't know, that's just my guess. And same thing in Preview Free, we've got now Night Sister lineup here replacing the new Django B1 squad as well. And obviously we do have Captain Rex available now to be used once you do get 5 first up and running. And obviously we got Rex 5s replacing, leftover Padme lineup. So it's kind of the midterm plan, what you should be working on. And once you have that things up and running, that's where we can start working on our long-term plan, as mentioned before. Start working on Sith Empire, which then leads you into Leviathan. We got Leia. I don't know, I kind of kept Leia for the offense because, thinking of how many Galactic Legends you will have and versus your opponents, you might want to go a little bit lighter on defense, but, you could put Leia on defense as well if you would like. Just, keep in mind that with Luthens out there, Leia teams, can get countered with more Mothmas, so that's why maybe keep on offense will be more valuable. And then the Maul lineup is going to be a great offensive tool once you have that up and running. Malgus obviously going on defense, finally in the long term replacing the Dash lineup, because Dash is not that great on defense, so that's what I would do. And same thing in Preview Free, we'll just be replacing the Night Sister team as well with a Malgus squad, leaving obviously Revan, Basti and Malak for offense. If you like, you can put them on defense as well. Just looking at your roster, I wanted to ensure that the defense I suggest still kind of leaves you enough for offense. And of course then also for the fleets, if you want to go harder on defense, you can put Leviathan down on defense instead of Chimera, or maybe instead of Radis. So at least then with Radis you can counter Malevolence. It's really up to you, but obviously at this point in long term it will give you a nice boost to your flexibility in terms of what you want to do. Okay, so that's all really what I wanted to cover in today's video. So, hopefully talking through some of the things again. Mods for the most part are in the right place. Just keep them slicing, keep them rolling, and over time you will improve the speed on your mods. So, have a very good base to work off. Very well-rounded roster, more or less factions are kind of, those key units are kind of, where they need to be, with the exception of 501st and Sith Empire. Those are the two biggest hole obviously that you need to plug in, so you can continue climbing the arena, and then obviously start then planning for the future. Leia, Leviathan, I think to focus next, because you've got Jabba, you've got Jedi Master Luke, hence why most of the requirements for Leia are already there, except those 3 new units that still need to be geared up and relicked up. And I think soon you might have a very, very nice rounded roster and start planning the next cycle of upgrades already. But again, I don't want to overwhelm with too many things. Let's just stay focused on few key things to improve, and hopefully you will be able to get to Kyber 2 and even Kyber 1 sometimes in the future. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, have fun, enjoy your life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.